Algernon's October with a check-in on Hip Hop United. I truly enjoy talking to interesting people that have had the pleasure of living different lives and being talented enough to be considered legendary in every single one of them. Our guests started out in the music business as artists and then pivoted to fashion, and now they have the opportunity to continue their legacy and success by bringing a luxury West Coast brand to Atlanta that everyone has heard of, but only a limited amount of people may have had the chance to experience. We've got Alvin and Calvin, the twins that brought Randy's Donuts to the city of peaches. How you doing, King?
Good. Hey, I like that intro.
Hey, man, we got to bring y'all in, man.
Sometimes I forget all this stuff. I'm going back from. I'm just every time you say something, it's a certain moment.
We gotta go down memory lane.
Yeah, exactly. When you was saying, from artists or whatever. So yeah, and I guess it's keep reinventing ourselves and keep doing, I don't know, dumb stuff that we just got to keep ourselves. I think we got ADD. We get tired of one thing and then we move on to something else.
Hey, listen, that's talent. As I was saying, though, you had the opportunity to kind of live in a lot of different areas and different spaces, man. And so, it's understandable that after a while you go, oh, I did that? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's okay. And we're going to talk about as much as we can, making Georgia's own. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now listen, tell me, let's start at the beginning, or at least a portion of the beginning. I know you got a lot of life that happened before music, but let's talk about music and how you kind of led to you collaborating to what? Usher, Chris Brown, Mary J. Blige. Talk to me.
We started out in music. Well, we got signed. Our first record deal was with Larry Blackman and Cameo when he had a company called Atlanta Artists.
Yeah.
No, let's take it back farther than that. Our first tour was with Parliament Funkadelics.
Ooh.
Yeah, because we aging ourselves on that.
Yeah.
But we were dancers. We was in high school. We ran away from home.
Oh, okay. So y'all a bit about the adventurous life from the beginning.
No, I think we were just stupid.
Okay.
You're right. It drew us into it. We started out touring with Parliament Funkadelics on Mothership Connection, and we were dancing at the time.
Yeah, okay. We would do like the intermissions between shows, and then when they have everybody up from P-Funk up on stage, and we would be up there, little 16, 15-year-old kids, dancing, like doing dance routines and stuff.
Okay.
Shout out to George Clinton. And,
One Nation Under a Groove.
Yeah, exactly. And from there, Calvin and I, we played in the high school band. I was a trumpet player, he was a trombone player. And so we would try to get, in Macon, Georgia, we would try to get a rhythm section to play with, as us being horns. So we would write our songs and go to these.
Find it, so you just started doing it yourselves.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. It gets even better than that. So we would try to find a bass player and a guitar player, because we would do the horn section. And back then, dirt road, country road boys didn't have public transportation like that.
Yeah.
So we'll walk from one side of town to the next, and the guys that we wanted to play guitar and bass, they'd be out with their girlfriends. They'd be hanging out.
They'll leave it they'll tell us that, yeah, come on over, and we tell them it's going to take us a couple hours to get there. As soon as we get to their house, they left. And so
around the 9th, 10th, or 11th time I was doing that. One night we were walking back because it got dark. I had my trombone case, he had his trumpet case, and he stopped in the middle of the road. And I said, "What's wrong with you?" He looked at me, he said, "What they doing that we can't do?"
I like
so we got a hold to a used guitar, and a friend of mine bought me a bass. Girlfriend of mine at the time bought me a bass, and we just switched up, and we would sit up at night in the dark and teach ourselves. We self-taught ourselves how to play guitar and bass.
That's something to think about, because we didn't know what we were doing. We just got the instruments, and we just started fiddling around and taught ourselves how to play. And so then, I don't know what, it's by the grace of God, because when we taught ourselves how to play, we knew 2 songs that we made up. We wrote 2 songs together.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a studio and recorded them and sent out cassette tapes. And we sent one up to Atlanta Artists, which was Larry Blackman's label. And Larry Blackman, back then, you had the house phone. This
It had
is
that
a
low
pre, this is
cord on
pre-cell
it.
phone.
People don't know that.
I know all about these things.
With the long cord.
Yeah, it wasn't no call waiting. It was a cord and a rotary phone.
Yeah.
I get it. I got you.
Exactly.
So somebody called the house late at night, and my mom used to always think of the little girls calling us. So he and I would make a mad dash to the phone so it won't wake my parents up. And I'll never forget that name. He said, "Hello, twins?" And we said, "Yeah." He said, "This is Larry Blackman." And we thought it was some friends playing. I said, man, get off my phone, stop playing. And it was actually Larry, and we had our group was AC Black and the Mean Cats at the time. And they set up a meeting, and he signed us right on the spot. And
then about 2 weeks later, before we even did a full recording, he called us. He said, "We want you guys to open up for the SOS Band in Columbus, Georgia."
mind you,
Big time.
we never played on stage before.
And you only had them 2 songs.
We only had two songs.
Never been in front of an audience.
None of that. In the sense that as a musician, as dancers, we did that,
Right.
So we rehearsed those 2 songs. We went out and got a drummer, and then got a keyboard player.
Mm-hmm.
And we rehearsed those 2 songs, and then we went to Columbus, Georgia, and then we opened up for the SOS Band.
That's how you do it. Then eventually y'all ended up going overseas.
Yeah.
After that, the deal didn't work out with Atlanta artists, and we sent more cassettes out. And then Motown called us one night, and we thought they were playing too. And that's how we got signed. We got signed to Motown Records. Motown Records calling somebody to make in Georgia. That was like unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we knew how to play more songs than that by the time we were.
Yeah, a little bit more than 2 at that point.
Yeah, I think we were polished.
Catalog had gotten a little bit better.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then they sent us. They said, "Well, we're going to sign you guys to a single deal," in the sense with Motown. So they sent us to Reno, Nevada. So then we restructured, got our band together, and then we went out to Reno, Nevada, to record the 1 song. But Calvin and I had made a truce that once we get out of Macon, Georgia, we ain't coming back. So all the songs, we had about like 12 songs that we had already rehearsed and wrote. So when we went to Reno, we went as soon as we touched down in Reno. I'll never forget, because it's a Victorian style mansion called Granny's House out in Reno, Nevada. And so they sent us out there, which was good because we had nothing. In Reno, Nevada, it was cold and snow. So, the guys we took out there, they couldn't go goof off or nothing like we was in LA or anything. So as soon as we got there, we went in the studio, major studio, SSL board, big elaborate studio. So we set up everybody like we had rehearsed in Macon. And Kevin and I kicked it off 1, 2, 3, and we just went. And while they was recording, we went through the whole 12 songs back to back to back to back. And never forget, guy at the time, his name Bill Dern, which we had as management. Well, he got assigned to Motown. We signed, and we did management with him. He comes in the studio the next day from L.A., and the engineer, a guy named Don Evans, he asked Don, he said, had these guys did any work yet?
And Don just pushed his chair back from the board. He said, have they started? He said, they recorded a whole album. He said, what you mean they recorded a whole album? He said, they came in and recorded the whole album overnight.
But we was only signed to a single, so
working.
So
Don hit
Bill asked Don, said, let me hear it. He said, it can't be that good. So Don hit the play on the board, and it went through the whole thing. And Bill, he was standing there looking. Bill Durham was standing there looking, and he goes to the board. He picks up the phone, and he called. At the time, Gerald Busby was the president of Motown. He said, "Send over a new contract." He said, in his words, "Can I use my
Can't curse on you again.
You say whatever you like.
Really?"
Don't
He
get
said,
me started.
he said, "Fuck that single deal. Sign them to an album deal immediately."
Let's go.
Yeah, And then we were supposed to only stay like 2 or 3 days, so we just finished up staying like the rest of the week and just went and did overdubs on the vocals and everything. And after that, then it was all off to the race.
That's what I'm talking about. And at that point, y'all toured overseas and all that. How did that kind of change your perspective, especially coming from Macon?
It's a world out here because when the record got released, this is the record industry. You know, they got. I can just say it's the record industry.
Yeah, I understand. It hasn't changed much.
Exactly.
In 30, 40 years.
It was more cricket. They had white labels that they'll go print out 500,000 on a white label that didn't even go up under the radar. Didn't have QR. Didn't have codes on it, barcodes on it, or something.
But it was amazing because like we was actually our first tour in Japan. When we landed, we went and checked out the event.
We got to get up to that because we sold more records overseas that we didn't know nothing about. So our biggest market was in the Japan market. So like that was our first tour that we went over to Japan. And we went over to Japan. It was kind of like so surreal because you look at it, even though we weren't even packing houses here, but we go to Japan. You got to pack the arena.
Yeah.
And you got everybody singing your songs that can't even speak English. And so
that's what we was flabbergasted about because we go on stage and we'll look out and see just the whole audience is Japanese, but they knew every song.
Yeah, so
and
they
they
having a big impact over there.
Yeah. We looking at them singing them, but then, like back then we were musicians and you trying to, hit on girls and they didn't speak a lick of English, but I just saw you in front just singing every song, a lip syncing or whatever the case may be. Well, that's what led us to, in the sense of just going back and just doing a lot of shows over in Japan and Korea, because those are our two biggest markets. We had London and a couple of other places, outside of that. So now move that forward, because every time we do shows, it would be some of the big Japanese artists at the time would come to our shows. And he and I, even though Calvin and I, we didn't know what the meaning of producing, arranging, writing. We just wrote songs and just did stuff.
Right.
But they didn't. They had categories of you produced this, you wrote this, or whatever. But we just wrote songs and put them in the format that we knew, in the sense of how songs should go.
Right.
We studied
because it was so funny. We would, I played since we played horns and the guitars and all that. He was programming a lot of drums and everything. So we just go in and just cut the whole song, not knowing that was different variations on checks.
Right.
You get a producer.
You were just doing what made sense and what felt good in order to get done.
Yeah. We didn't know anything about publishing. We didn't know anything about writers' royalties. But we did know about publishing in a way, because I never forget one of the biggest arguments we had when we got signed to Motown. We had kind of studied how to do publishing, but we wasn't sure. So every night that we finished doing, even just recording new songs, when we went back out to Reno, he and I, when we get finished from the session that night, about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, because we stayed in this big Victoria South mansion that had like 2 SSL, rooms, boards. So the rest of the band would go upstairs because it had like 10 bedrooms in it. But he and I would sit downstairs in the studio and we'll fill out all our BMI papers, publishing papers, and fill out the copyrights. And then we get the secretary, we'll put them on her desk that came in the office part, and tell her to, to go ahead and mail these out, when she comes out in the morning. And the one cricket manager that we was dealing with, when we got finished with the album and everything and mix, he said, well, we can go ahead, I'll fill out all the publishing papers and the copyright papers. And we was like, we kind of like kids. We said, oh, you ain't got to worry about that. We already took care of that.
Yeah.
That was the biggest argument we had.
Well, he went off.
Yeah, why the fuck did y'all do that?
How dare you protect your rights and do what you're supposed to do?
He was saying he should have took care of it, and we shouldn't have done that. And we was like, why you get mad? We was just, let's work. We're not thinking in the sense of with that.
We weren't thinking about protecting ourselves. We just thought we did, since we did everything from kick to caboodle, just do everything.
Yeah. Well, as usual, you guys seem to, just like when you couldn't play certain instruments, you get to the point where you can figure out in terms of that, and that just makes sense.
Now, it's one thing that we do regret back then. We told him to, but we had a big fight with our manager at the time, a guy named George Lakes. The single that they released in the United States was called Funky Situation by A.C. Black, right? Mm-hmm. Tina Turner heard the song, and she wanted it. And we was like, wow, give it to her. I said, we can write another song. And they said, well, if Tina Turner likes it, it's going to be a hit, so you guys do it. That was the biggest fucking regret I ever seen. If you ever listen to the song, you can hear Tina Turner all over it. And that was the biggest mistake that and we like, no, just, and it was like, no, we're going to keep the song, we're going to keep the song. As we go down memory lane, I think about that. If we would have gave that song to Tina Turner, and then we fill out our own publishing situation, I mean, like,
that would have been Kaching, not Kuching. Kaching.
Still be eating off that today, but that's okay. Things work out. What is for you is for you in terms of that or whatever. So.
And then when we were in Japan, like I was saying, all the major artists would come to our shows and be like, "Hey, can you write a song or produce our record?" Like I said, back in the day, Calvin and I just put songs together. We didn't know the situation of publishing, writing, and whatever. We just put songs together. So, but we was horn dogs and musicians at the time. We was like, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to bag these two girls that right here.
You can't say that now because we have the Yatu movement.
Me too. Well, again, don't worry about the language barrier because, in the words of Stevie Wonder, music is a world within itself with a language we all understand.
Especially like all the girls would come to the show. So. We have just finished doing a show, and there was an artist at the time was the Japanese Madonna. Her name is Seiko Masuda. Seiko comes, she has a big box of strawberries. These strawberries are like this, with the long stems in them and everything, right?
Gourmet strawberries.
And so I took the time out to talk to them, but he was trying to hit. He was trying to,
To my knowledge, I cannot confirm or deny that.
I understand, sir.
So I don't know what possessed me to do this. I'm trying to get rid of them, but I'm giving them factual information. I'm giving them truth. So they said, "Would you do 3 songs for it?" We was like, yeah. And they said, "How much you charge?" And back then, this is the predate ourselves, so I'm just gonna give all out. So I said we charge 30,000 a song. They said, "Well, can you do 3 songs?" And we was like, yeah. They said, "So what bank do you bank with?" I told them, I think it was a pre-Wachovia Bank of America. It was whichever one was, I told them what bank and told them, and we were still coming out of Macon, Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this happened. So I get them out of our face, give them the information. The next day, I was married, and so we would have to go down and get a phone card and go down to the corner store. And
big international phone call.
Yeah, you can get a phone card.
Right.
And so when we did that, I got to wrap it up a little bit.
No, we good. Go. You good.
So I go and call my wife at the time, and when I called her, she says, "Hey, something's wrong with the bank account." Now, being black, you know what that means, right?
Some negative, some bounce, or something. Yeah. I got you. I understand.
I'm just. So I said, damn. I said, how bad is it? And she said, no, some place overseas deposit $90,000 into the account.
3 songs.
I'm saying, huh? And so 1 + 2 + 3 + 5 + 10 million plus any odds. I said, how much? She said $90,000. I said, let me call you right back. I hang up the phone. I'm running to the hotel. And it was a lady that we met named Miss Rosita. She was Filipino, but she was the manager. She was the manager of the hotel. And I'm running through the hallway. She said, "Mr. Waters, I need to speak with you." I said, "Hey, look, I don't have time. So I run up to his room, bam on the door, and then she's right behind me, hot in my heels, and she give me the thing saying, meet at Sony Studios at 3:30.
There go the money.
And I'm beating on his door. I said, "Yo, get up. We got to go to Sony Studios.
We got work to do." So you got that work.
Exactly.
So see, that's the beautiful thing. Like I said, what is for you is for you. And of course, I'm sure that kind of shaped a lot of how you guys worked or whatever, based upon those wonderful boxes that we have in front of you, Randy's Donuts. Mm-hmm. Now, Randy's Donuts is an iconic brand that is expanding its reach on the East Coast and beyond. Now, how did you get an opportunity to be a part of this designer donut brand, and Tell me about the Atlanta location.
Every year our birthday is June 26th, and if we were living we used to live in L.A., so it's a dream of ours. So we moved back to Atlanta. Every year we would go back on our birthday to L.A. and we stay at different hotels. He liked the London Hotel. I like Beverly Hilton. Not trying to be bougie or whatever. That's just I get a way to get back in touch with a lot of creative stuff. And I called him and I said, you know what, I want to open up one in Atlanta. And I made a phone. He said, okay. And then I said, I'll call him back. So I made a call to the Randy's Donuts franchise. And just so happened, the owner of the franchise was walking by somebody's desk, and he picked the phone up. And I asked him, I told him who we were. And I asked him, could we meet with him? He said, okay, I got 15 minutes. So I called him, and we both met out at the Inglewood store. Mm-hmm. And then 15 minutes turned to 2 or 3 hours.
Wow. And
then, we got to talking and everything. And then when we left L.A., then back and forth like a couple of weeks. And then Mark is the franchise owner. He called us. He said, I like you guys a lot. So I tell you what. I said, instead of one store, he said, I want y'all to have 10.
Wow.
And then when I called him, he told me, what we going to do with 10 stores? I said,
no, I knew the franchise, but you had to pay for each franchise, and they had to multiply that by 10. And then the responsibility of having 10. But so he and I bickered back and forth and back and forth. Then I just gave in. So, and that's when we just went on and got like the rights to 10 stores here. This is the very first one on the East Coast.
Right, and it's where's it located?
Right in front of Lenox Mall.
Okay.
And so when we got that, then we had to shift our thinking from entertainment, even from fashion, which we skipped over. We had to start thinking, because we looked at it as being a brand, another brand.
Yeah.
And we can.
It's not just a donut shop. This is an iconic brand because,
absolutely.
We wear the jackets, and then one white gentleman walked to us. We was at a seminar or something. He said, Randy Donuts. He said, do you know what you have? We said, yeah, we got Randy Donut. He said, no. He said, you got a designer brand that everybody know about, but not too many people have heard or had the luxury of tasting.
Yep.
And I said, whoa, that's kind of like deep, because everybody know this iconic donut. We've been in over 200 and something movies, and everybody know the brand.
Yeah, because I tasted Randy's for the first time actually a few weeks ago when Brianna brought those in for my birthday. Okay. So it was great as well. And the initial bite I took of that delicious pastry, pure food nirvana. So what do you want people to feel when they come to your locations as a newbie?
As an experience?
It's an experience for one, and then all our products are made by hand. We don't have no fabrication or anything.
No materials.
People, we cook overnight and we service the stores. And like everything from conception to the end of it is done by hand. Mix, cut, donuts are cut, fried, decorated. Everything is by hand.
Wow.
We don't have any type of conveyor belts or whatever. So everything that you taste right here was made generally by hand. So that's why you can taste the difference in it. And then we don't skip on ingredients like other donut companies or other donut places that we won't name. We don't skip on ingredients.
Nothing is artificial.
Exactly. So it's just like, it's a real donut. And I guess you can say pastry, but it's a donut. It's a real donut. That's why some people that never had them, when they had like the Prefactor or the ones, they distinguish the difference in the sense of what it is.
Got you. No, it's absolutely delicious. Now, will we see like a huge donut like we have at the flagship location at any point in time? Because that's a staple, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like for months, we just been open since July 3rd. So we did have a big inflatable donut out, and right there in front of Lenox Mall, and that was a blessing for us because we're right there. When you turn in Lenox Mall, we're right there in front of Lenox Mall, and to be a representation that us to be global enough or good enough to represent Lenox Mall when you turn in, I mean, that's a plus for us. But we had an inflatable. We took it down because there's some situation with the city. So Calvin and I have now the big hardcore donut that's just been completed. And so we
It's
dealing
like
with
13, 14 feet tall.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have a big one, maybe not as big as the iconic one out in
Yeah.
LA, but
No,
we're gonna
no,
have
no.
one that's
I
at
don't
least.
think anything can get as
You
big
can
as
get
that
that.
because that's a big donut. Because we did a photo shoot when we was out in L.A. and we were like one of the only.
It was basically like about 5 black dudes been on that roof with that donut.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was basically very iconic for us to be able to take the whole photo shoot, the whole brand, and to be trusted to bring it all the way to the East Coast. And yeah, we're gonna. I'll show you pictures of the donut later, but it's gonna be Atlanta Tourist Board already said once we put the donut up, they're gonna put it at one of the main attractions coming to
Yeah.
Atlanta, like the aquarium, Stone Mountain,
Big Chicken.
and that Randy, Big Chicken, and
Yeah.
Randy donut.
And like I said, and this is iconic anyway because this is the very first one on the East Coast. Period.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
we got one coming up in New York in Greenwich Village, but that's a couple of months from now. But for the East Coast, we're the very first one. So anybody that's actually have the pleasure of eating a donut, they can say that I'm one of the first ones on the East Coast to actually experience it. You know, by having a donut, one of Randy's donuts.
Yo, that is amazing. Now, how involved are you guys in kind of day to day? You kind of went through the thing of telling us, the ingredients and kind of how it's made, on the day to day basis. How deep do you guys get?
We have a older sister. Her name is Carolyn, Alvin, Calvin, and Carolyn. Carolyn runs. We had a 4,000 square foot kitchen out by the airport, and she makes sure that the donuts, like that inspection, that stamp of approval.
And
And
then we
then-
got Chef David.
Yeah.
Chef David, one of our partners. He's out there in the kitchen also too every day.
5-star chef.
Yeah, he's a 5-star chef. And so Carolyn and Chef David doing the day-to-day kitchen operations with the store and stuff. Me and Calvin, we dabble back and forth between the business side of it and then actually the store. Because we know how to make donuts. Because in a sense, when we got the franchise, we had to take a crew out and learn physically how to make donuts. So if we had to make these donuts, he and I can physically do them. Not as good as our workers now because we hadn't done it in a while, but we know how to physically mix, cut, because all these things are hand cut. Like you see a hand cutter, they cut
So
them.
you see 10,000 donuts, all of them are made by hand. You got
Wow.
somebody.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, Atlanta's got a lot of events coming up. FIFA World Cup, other sports happenings around the city. Can we expect to see Randy's Donuts represented in those spaces?
We're working on that. As a matter of fact, we just teamed up with a company called Paradise for the airport. So we start servicing the airport actually on the 31st of this month. We're doing all the Paradise stores out in the airport. Azale Market downtown. That
Used to
just
be the
opened.
old Walgreens down by Georgia State. Yeah, we started servicing them.
Wow.
And, the airport, then the other 9 locations, the Alpharetta, Gwinnett, Marietta, we're going to blanket around all the surrounding counties with their big donut.
We wanted to have, out of the 10 stores, we don't want it to be like a Starbucks on every corner. We want to have people, because a lot of people, they said, hey, I drove from Smyrna. Some people said they drove 45 minutes, to get donuts, and they load up and then they drive back out. But just having in the sense that when you get there, it is an experience. And everything else.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, what's some of the lessons that you learned from the music business that kind of helped you be successful in your entrepreneurial ventures, especially Randy's?
The part that no means on to us. You tell us no, that means it's on. Because, we had a lot of doors slamming our face, and people told you can't do this, you can't do that, and that's the most craziest thing in the world. Every time somebody said that you can't do that, me and him would turn around, you couldn't do it. But even when we started out playing trombone and trumpet and switching over to guitar and bass and producing and doing everything, they would say, you can't do that. We had so many lawyers tell us that we couldn't do a lot of stuff inside the entertainment field or anything else. Like top prominent lawyers, hey, you can't do that. He said, why not? Well, nobody never done it before. So me and him would tackle it from that end.
I like that. Now, what's your vision for your Randy's Donuts over the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you want to see it?
I have all 10 stores operating on full throttle, then get it on autopilot, and then at that particular time. I think me and Calvin, I know we go back and forth. Sometimes I want to dabble back into the entertainment side because it's, you know, the music component of us being musicians. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like in your veins.
Yeah.
But I don't want to rely on. I want to do that as a hobby now. But, you know, in the sense from, you know, because, you know, economically wise, you got to look at, you know, the economics in the sense of this making money. So, you know, you can and get it on autopilot. Then you can dabble in between certain things. I don't know. We might get bored. We might be race car driving next week. I don't know.
Never know what y'all gonna jump into. Never know what you're gonna jump into. Well, what's been some of the challenges of scaling, you know, a legacy brand like that, while also kind of keeping the integrity of what makes it popular?
A lot of people, because when you look at it, some people know about it. A lot of people don't. So we have to do references. Some genre of people we have to say Iron Man, and some genre of people we have to say Holy Moly Donuts. But a lot of people don't know about it. It's kind of until you make them familiar with the concept. Hey, you remember this movie or this TV show? Then we have to take out a picture and show it. And they say, "Oh yeah, I know that donut, the big donut, right?" So the challenges of that is the fact of them being able to taste the actual product compared to, because he and I, that was our ritual. Like you said, every year when we get off the plane, either we have a car pick us up or we get a rental. We go by Randy's, get a dozen of donuts, and take the slow crawl up La Cienega, you know, into Beverly Hills area where we generally stayed at. And so that's when he said, "Hey, these things, we've been doing this for some years. Let's bring, let's think about bringing them on the East Coast."
And with all the entertainment from television, the movies, moving to Atlanta to shoot, we was right on time because everybody say, "Hey, you know, Randy's here, Randy's and Randy's."
It's more of a cult kind of pop cultural thing, but then the quality of the product on top of that helps, you know, solidifies it.
Double for it, so
yeah,
got you. So being that you're from Macon, Georgia, was Atlanta your first choice to bring Randy's to?
Yeah, we saw the empty void here. Atlanta's still a wide open market.
Absolutely.
Atlanta really is this big.
Yeah,
that's crazy. We can leave here and go across town and be like, "Hey." You know, like you'd be like, "Hey," you can go 30 miles out and you're gonna run into somebody you see that you crossed paths with and saw or whatever. So, you know, like, it's a wide open market. It's a big town. It's, you know, it's still considered, because, you know, we've been here for so long, but it's still a big town. It's a city. It's a metropolitan city, but it's still a big town. And so in the sense of, there's a lot of implants here. And so when people get to see, especially like from LA and California, there's a lot of people here. So when they see it, you know, they say, "Hey, I didn't know you guys were here." So they come and visit, and they come and eat it, and it continues.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's been special having an opportunity to sit with you gentlemen. I'm proud of everything that you guys have done. I'm very, very excited that you brought this magnificent, delicious designer donut brand to the wonderful city of Atlanta, especially you two being men of color, bringing that here to the city. With that, we wish you nothing but continued success, and we can't wait to have you back again, and also one day to have a Randy's Donuts over there by Hip Hop United, so we can continue working.
No, they wanted us to put like one here, over here, in the
works area.
Okay, hey, I love that too. So if you could tell everybody where to find you two in terms of your personal brand, and of course Randy's Donuts and where it's going to be.
Okay. Social media, twins, Alvin, Calvin. That's all across social media: Facebook, Instagram, everything. And Randy's Donuts Atlanta, the #1, is where you find us on Instagram and other social media. And it's so funny, when we had the big inflatable donuts, we had over 10,000 TikTok posts. People. So when we put their actual real donut up, we looking to quadruple that number of the people coming over, taking like videos in front of it.
And our first physical store is right in front of Lenox Square Mall, Peachtree, 3393 Peachtree Road, right in front of Lenox Mall, where the True Foods entrance and Apple entrance is. You see us sitting right out there in the parking lot. We converted a container into like a Randy's Donuts to give it more of a nostalgic, kind of like a pop,
hip,
kind of hip kind of thing. And so, come out. We got a sitting patio area.
That is amazing. Well, gentlemen, we love everything that you guys are doing. Alvin and Calvin of Randy's Donuts, you have officially been checked in with Hip Hop United. Let's go.
All right.
Let's eat some donuts.